Which was first, beast or man? That's this contradiction. And this contradiction is based off Genesis 1:25 through 26 and Genesis 2:18 through 19. And I'm going to read those verses. Genesis 1:26 through 25. It says, "And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." And it's compared with Genesis 2:18 through 19, which says, "And the Lord God said, It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make a helpmeet for him. And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field, and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof." So the sum of this contradiction is that there's two instances where God created the beast. And in one instance, it clearly says in Genesis 1 that the beast is created before man. And then this supposed contradiction is claiming that in Genesis 2, it's saying that the man was formed, and then God, in verse 19, it says, "And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field, and every fowl of the air, and brought them to Adam." So Adam was created before they were. And really, this is not a contradiction. Verse 1 clearly lays out the order in which things were created. And when we go to Genesis 2, it's basically a summary of the work that was done in chapter 1, the creation. And when God said that, "And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them to Adam," he wasn't saying they were created right then. He was just saying this is how he created them. He was talking about, he was bringing the beast to Adam so Adam can name them, but he was declaring how he created them. He did form them in chapter 1 out of the ground, and out of the ground, and then brought them to Adam. So this is not a contradiction. It's this God reinstating how they were created and that he brought them to Adam. And we can really clear it up when we go to the first part of chapter 2, when it gives us that God sanctified the seventh day. And in verse 4 it starts it, "These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the heavens and the earth. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground." So see, here in verse 4 of the same chapter, God's saying that there was plants on the earth, there were herbs on the earth, and man is not created. And then it goes on and says, "But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul." So really what's going on here is chapter 1 gives us a definitive order when things were created, and basically paraphrases it and compacts it all in a small little container, while chapter 2 expands on it and it distinctly expands on man. Chapter 1 focuses on everything that was created, and then chapter 2 focuses on man. It doesn't focus on the beast of the earth. It doesn't focus on plant life and other things, the universe and stars, and it focuses on man. So God's focus in chapter 2 is on man and that distinct creation. And whenever he says in chapter 19 that he formed every beast of the field, well, it clearly says that in chapter 1. So he's just repeating how he formed them, and not that at this instant he created them while man was already created. He doesn't do that. And at the very least, it still is not a contradiction that God created beast in chapter 1 and man in chapter 1. And even if you say that he does create beast here, well, he still created beast in chapter 1, and then in chapter 2 he's creating more beast and bringing them to Adam so he can name them. So at the very least, you could say that he created beasts before and then created them again right in front of Adam and brought them to Adam so Adam can name them. They're the same beast that he created in chapter 1, but he just created another set of them so they can be named and all the beasts to be named. But that's not what I'm suggesting. Even if you go along with this contradiction, the contradiction contradicts itself, because chapter 1 clearly creates beasts before man, and in chapter 2 the very least that you could say is new beasts were created, the same beasts that were created in chapter 1, the same type of beast, but new beasts of those types were created in chapter 2 so they can be named by man. That's at the very least, but I'm suggesting that God's just giving a recounting of how he created the beast, not that he created any more here in verse 19, that he's just recounting how they were created and he brought them to man, that man was created after the beast. So this is not a contradiction. This is simply very weak, and I didn't see any need to even expound on it that thoroughly. If it needs to be expounded thoroughly, I'll make another video, but I don't think it needs to. It's pretty clear. You can pull up many Bibles, and I would suggest you go get you a King James Scofield Bible, and the Scofield Bible will delve deeper into this for you. You can find many commentaries of the like, and basically chapter 2 is just a recanting. It's a summary. It's a greater summary of what happened in creation in chapter 1, and it's expounding specifically on man and not the beast. God just recounted that he created beasts from the ground like he did man, and he didn't create anything new. Beast wasn't created after man, and God's just retelling you, like I'm doing here, continuously telling you that this is how he did it. This is how beasts were created. He created them from the dust of the ground. Doesn't mean he created anything new here. That he was just recounting that. And sometimes we need that. That's what the Bible is about a lot. And this is where a lot of contradictions come. The Bible constantly tells you the same thing over and over. It's to pump it into your head. It's to make you recognize it. It's to make you remember it. Pump it in your head. We can do this. It's repetition. And we do this in our lives. We do things and repeat things over and over and over. We want to memorize something. We read it and read it and read it and read it and read it until we can memorize it. If you want to get good at something, you keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. This is what God's doing. He wants you to remember what's going on. He wants you to remember how he created the beast, how he created man, what he did. So he recounts it and retells it over and over and over so you can understand it. Obviously, the people who's making these contradictions don't understand it. They can't comprehend it. They have no fathom of repetition, but this is what this is. It's repetition. God's repeating himself of how he did things so you will not forget, and you will not have an excuse for forgetting. If you're reading his word, you will find the repetitions over and over in the Bible. All the way through the Bible, it's repetition. So this is what this is about. It's not a contradiction, and thank you, and hopefully you stay tuned for the next one. It'll probably come out in a couple of days. I'm going to keep making these every couple of days until I cover them. It's going to take me a while, so I have plenty of videos ahead to focus on biblical contradictions, because there's plenty out there, so try to focus them all. So there's plenty of videos ahead. Please stay tuned. Please subscribe to this channel, and thank you, and have a nice day. God bless.